Hi, everybody.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Janice. How are you doing today?
Great. Really happy to see you.
Good. I'm happy and excited to be doing our weekly live broadcast. Today, I thought we could talk about something we started talking about last week, which was why, when we have a bad habit, a liquor store is on the corner instead of a yoga studio, or our friends are all going out to do some activity that we're trying to avoid. And we're surrounded by circumstances that seem to be out of our control. And even our own bad habits feel like they're out of our control. So the topic today is about this feeling of being a victim. Like if things are just coming at us and we don't have any influence over them, how are we supposed to make a difference in the world? So we'll talk about that a little bit, and we want to relate it to a very important idea about the blank white screen. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Janice, do you have that feeling, or have you in the past, that things are just snowballing out of control and nothing you do matters?
I have been thinking that. I've been thinking about it quite a bit lately because the world, the conflicts that are going on in the world, I wonder, how can I, one person in a small town, make a difference? And then it made me think. I really had to ponder this. I know we've been teaching and training, but I do have to go and apply what I've learned. And I just thought, how can I make a difference in, maybe changing how I see conflict? And I thought it must be coming from me, even if it's a global experience. I have to start doing something different so I can experience something differently. So I've really been trying to watch my thoughts and my actions to make sure that I don't say unkind things to people, and that I try to serve people in a much kinder way and work on my patience. And I think that could have a trickle down effect, because other people, when I treat them nice, they feel good. And then the next people that they run into, they could, be kinder because they feel good. So I think because we believe in the seed system, what we do not only affects us, it begins to affect other people. I don't know, Alex, what do you think about that? What would you say about the world as it is right now?
Yeah.
You know,
And that's what made me think about this topic, as you were talking about last week, about even though we've overcome some of our addictions, our worst addictions, and you were talking about that, but you still see a lot of addicts around you.
Mhm.
And that's what got me thinking about this idea. I think we have to back up just a little bit in case anyone's listening to this who isn't familiar with what the seed system is. The reason I love this system is because I can use my logical mind. I don't really have to believe in the seed system. I don't have to believe in it. I can use my logic to prove it to myself. In ancient times, where these ideas came from, they actually would use a conch shell to talk about this idea, something that was handy, something that was nearby. I guess they were blowing on the conch shell to make music, so it was hanging out on a table nearby. But now, as you may know, we talk about the pen. And I just want to review quickly the importance of the idea of the pen. This pen has a diamond in the front of it. The diamond is a symbol for this important idea of emptiness, or the blank white screen. So the pen, when we see it, what do we see when we look at this thing?
I see a gold cylinder with a shiny thing on top.
True, but what if I went like this? Would you know that it was a pen?
Mm.
You're not a very good student. Okay, here. When you what is this thing?
It looks like a pin.
Good. That's the answer I'm looking for, that it looks like a pen. So I switched to something that maybe we recognize as a pen better. But that really demonstrates our point perfectly. Someone might see this gold stick with the jewel on top and not have any idea it's a pen. And if a puppy dog sees this stick, gray and black shaped, they might see it as a chew toy. So who's right?
Oh
Well,
my gosh.
they're both right. And that is the important crux of this, is that we all see things in a totally unique way. Animals and people, different people in the room are going to see everything differently. So then we talk about, if we leave this thing on the table and we all go out of the room and nobody's in the room anymore, you know, then what is this thing? Is it a chew toy or is it a pen? Well, we can't say if we don't know who's perceiving the object. All you can do is say, I don't know, both or neither, you know? And that's the idea of emptiness, that it's available. So that's the same concept as this idea of a blank white screen. If the screen already was filled with the picture that Janice was seeing, then I wouldn't be able to see it the way I see it. And that's a kind of a strange idea, but if you think about it and if you apply your logical thinking or your clear thinking, it has to be true that things are available for me to see them the way I see them, to decide if I like them or not. Do I like ice cream, or, do I prefer vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream? One's not better than the other from its own side.
Mm.
So that's the idea of a blank white screen. And Janice, can you help us understand the projector, the white screen and the projector, to kind of round out that movie analogy for us a little bit more?
Yeah, it's like, okay, what Alex is talking about, the dog would walk into the room, they would not see a pin. They would not see something that they could write with, and that has a cause. The person walks in and the pin, mine looks different. They see a pin and it's something they can write a note with. I can write hi. I can write hi. And why is that? It has to have a cause. So what is that cause? The cause is something that I did in the past. I must have helped someone communicate somehow. Whereas, the dog this morning, I took them on walks and there's two of them, and sometimes they share the same stick. So when the dog walks in, they've done something different. They've had a stick that they shared. They've created a cause to see this thing as something fun to chew on. So everything has a cause. And if that's true, which it is, then what we think, and the thoughts we think, the actions they cause us to take, they're making seeds in our mind. And when the conditions are right, those seeds open up and I walk in and I see, instead of just a gold thing that looks like a wand, I understand and see something that I can write with, a pen. So it's coming from me. And if the pen is coming from me, from what I've done in the past, like sharing communication tools, then the entire world around me is coming from me, which means if I don't like what I'm experiencing right now, that I can start doing something differently to plant different seeds in my mind that will ripen and throw a picture out, a different movie. I'll create a different movie. And that's really cool, because if we have an addiction and we're aware of it and we want to do something differently, we can do something right now to start making a new movie. And Alex, you want to go deeper into that? Like how how can they use this tool of the blank white screen that we project our seeds? How can a person use that to get rid of their addictions?
Great. Yeah, thanks. And the idea of projecting, I mean, that's where I'm going to go with that, is that we have this collection of what we're calling seeds or mental impressions. Sometimes it's called karma. It's these, all the things that are stored in our mind, and then we project those outward. And we're familiar with that in just regular language in English, that, oh, you're projecting that onto that person. They don't think that, you're just projecting it onto them.
Mhm.
So we already have this idea that we are in our minds projecting on to the world around us. And so that's the idea of the blank white screen, and the mind is actually like a projector. It records like a video recorder and then it projects back out like a movie recorder. And what I've done with that idea, one thing that helps me is the idea of painting on a blank canvas. If I put a lot of dark, muddy colors together and put it on the canvas, I'm going to have an ugly picture. So if I'm seeing war in the world around me, or I'm seeing people who are living on the streets in my own affluent town, people who are addicted to drugs, and so desperately mentally ill or addicted that they are homeless and living without basic needs in a town with a lot of money and a lot of affluence. Those are the colors that I have painted onto that screen. So changing the colors, changing what we're sending out, as Janice said, is the way to do that. One thing that I think is interesting about the blank white screen also is it is said that just like a movie, the projections are coming out fast. So fast, 65 per finger snap. So in a finger snap, 65 frames have gone by. I think in our cameras on our iPhone, we have that, right? A certain number of frames per second for a good quality video. So the picture is coming out so fast. But that means that there's maybe a gap in between. Like if you could stop it, maybe you could instantly change to different colors. It's coming out fast, but you insert that new thing that you did, that helping somebody else have a healthy habit, and it could change quickly. My experience has been it changes a little bit slower because I already have a muddy picture that has got some dark spots that I need to put some brighter or colors that are more attractive in. So seems like a little bit at a time, small actions, as you were saying, they add up and they slowly change what I'm going to be projecting into the world. But I did want to mention that it could change faster, could change in the snap of a finger. So what would you say to somebody who feels like their bad habits are, that they're a victim of their own bad habits? Do you have any advice about that, Janice?
It does feel overwhelming. But what I think the first thing is, it's conventional, but I think the first thing we need to do, if we have bad habits and they make us unhappy and they make our family around us unhappy, and that they affect not only our family and our friends, but they affect our work. I think if we first recognize and admit that we have it, we can start to take small steps to change it. You know, for instance, I'll use alcohol because it's so common. Because I have a lot of addictions around me, I see it in a lot of people, and it does affect their work. And I always think it's a mirror, like it's coming next to a movie near me if I see it. It's like a trailer. Where is it coming from? I've had to do something to see this. So what is it that I've done? You know, maybe I haven't respected somebody in the past that was really trying to give up a habit, and I provided them with alcohol at a dinner instead of like you really had the awareness that, maybe we won't serve alcohol tonight because, these friends are coming over and they're trying very hard to stop a drinking problem. So that would be one small step to start eroding my own habit of alcoholism, or if that were a habit for me. I think we need to examine first that we have the habit and take steps to help other people not have the habit, like not serving it, not making it available, just demonstrating alternatives. That's one. It's sort of conventional, but it also plants seeds for us to see less addiction in our world. I think that would be one start. The first is to recognize it and to take some small steps to stop it in myself by not serving it to others.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. I notice I have people in my life who are struggling to change a habit, like overeating, or something, specifically that I know someone who's always struggling against wanting to lose weight, maybe eating too much. And I think maybe that I don't take on some of my habits. Like I don't try harder to break my addiction to the phone, looking at the phone all the time, or my habit of thinking negatively. Maybe because I don't take on my habits and get them under control, other people are in my world. I see them struggling with their bad habits. The thing
Yes.
that's encouraging, sorry, Janice, let me just finish this one thought, is that the thing that's encouraging about that blank white screen idea is, for me, it makes all the difference, because it puts the power, what kind of future I want to see around me, not only in my own life, but on the news and amongst my friends. It gives me the power. And that's why I wanted to really bring up that image, because it's helped me. It explains how one person doing small actions can make a big difference in their environment.
I love that. I love that explanation, and I love thinking about the blank white screen, that I am a blank white screen. I could it's coming up Halloween, so screen works, but I'm a blank white screen, and what that means is if things are coming from me, I can change it. If they weren't coming from me, I'd have to bring in everybody around that me and fix them, which is impossible. I can't change someone else, but I can change me. It might be one small step at a time, but if I start planting lots of small steps, and a couple of weeks ago, Katie Fetch was on here, and we talked about the 4 powers of getting rid of our old bad seeds by by stop planning it and having intelligent regret, knowing that we're going to get a bad result, and then doing a makeup activity. Maybe my makeup activity is not serving alcohol. Maybe my makeup activity is not serving unhealthy food. Like if I'm going to a party, not going and just getting like I might eat organic food at home, but I'm going to a party and then I bring food that maybe has a lot of chemicals in it. Not doing that, just doing things differently so that I can get different results. Um, I think it's going to help. It's one small step. It's got to create the future results that I start seeing things differently because I'm doing things differently. And if seeds are true, it has to work. I'm a blank white screen. I can start projecting a different picture by doing things differently now.
Yeah. And you're a blank white screen, so you can see yourself differently. I mean, it's true that your perception of yourself is also empty. So when we change the causes, then we see ourselves differently. We see a person who makes healthier choices. We see a person who's more useful to helping other people around them who are also trying to make better choices and live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah. Y- You
So
know,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was thinking about like even an emotional addiction, like complaining. I know Alex and I teamed up a long time ago to, we had a sign, anytime we saw one another complaining, we'd kind of scratch our head. And it helped us to notice that we were complaining, and complaining doesn't do anything. What it does is it just plants a seed that we're going to start complaining more. Anything we do, it's going to grow. That's just the law of seeds. So if we want to stop it, we have to do something to notice it and stop doing it. So if you can do a little, head scratch when you're doing something or some sign that, do you really want that, without making someone feel bad, but making it feel like they're in control, that they can start in small ways to break their habit. I think that's a good thing.
I love that you brought up that example, because that's one of the most successful things you and I have done together, because we both changed our habit and stopped complaining. And that's a tried and true method, having a partner to go jogging with, having a friend to cook healthier, more healthy meals with. And most importantly, having somebody who you remind each other to do coffee meditation, to be happy about those small efforts that you're making to paint a more beautiful picture of the world, or to project a better movie in the world. And it all starts with thinking about what are the causes of the things that you don't want to see, and what are the causes of the things you do want to see. But I love that idea of having a buddy, having your buddy to help, because just by helping that, by pairing up, you're helping them, and that's already giving a lot more power to your efforts. It's the 4 steps, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a great suggestion. Well, I'm going to say my final words, and then Janice can give us any last thoughts she had. But it was a great conversation. Thank you all for being here. And Janice, thanks for bringing your wisdom. What else? You want to say anything else wise before we end?
Well, I just want to thank everybody because I want to have more gratitude in my life. I want to thank Michelle. I want to thank Talina, and I want to thank Alex and anyone who listens to this. I hope it helps you. And I want to thank you for helping us all change the world, change our movie. Okay. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.